All right, who's here? Who do we got? Street cops. Robert, how you guys doing tonight? Sylvie, spread the word. We're live tonight at the Citizens Police Review Board meeting, and that's Chief Lockhart getting up there, walking around out there. And I don't know how many of you guys have seen videos and such, but he's quite a storyteller. We're here tonight to talk about a couple things, and I'll just give you guys a preview of what's going on here. I don't know how many of y'all remember this. Let me turn this over where y'all can see it. I'm here tonight to remind this police review board of a couple things. You know, while their police keep getting exonerated on everything, this happened to a man that was fully restrained in a wrap. That's the remainders from a pressure point called a mandibular angle. When that happened, Anthony was fully restrained in what the police call the wrap. It's basically a hog tie. We'll be talking about that a little bit. But the reason that's important is we'll pull an agenda here real quick. And we got here a little early so that I could introduce you guys to what's going on here tonight. Because as we look down here, oh, this is last night's. This is not even the police review board agenda. Let's go in here and see if we have an agenda. Is there a published agenda for the meeting tonight?
It's online. It's online.
There's not a paper copy?
No. No.
Okay.
That is the process.
Okay. Yeah, if we could get a paper copy out here, that would be awesome. I know the chief doesn't want to do that, but yeah, see, that's how important the CPRB is. We don't even publish the agendas out here. But anyway, in the agenda, what they're going to do is they're going to exonerate a couple complaints. And I'm sure the chief is in there telling them that, you know, they don't need to pay any attention to me. But there is a public comment period here, and I find it interesting that that board, it appears as though they're going to sit with their backs to some people. Now, the other thing that happened today that, you know, I just can't believe this. How many of you guys out there have ever been stuck behind an Amazon van or a UPS van or whatever that is parked alongside of a major thoroughfare? And, hi, Jenny. And they're delivering something, but the van is blocking the right lane of traffic and everybody's having to merge in. Put a thumbs up if you've been in that situation. Hey, Emperor, how you doing? Anybody got a thumbs up? Have you ever been in that situation where you got a delivery van or something stopped in the right lane of a thoroughfare, and everybody in the right lanes have to merge into the left all of a sudden to avoid hitting that thing? He's just sitting there with his flashing lights on, right? So today I'm out delivering propane to the homeless camps, and had a couple cops pull up behind me. It's all on video. We'll be putting that out a little later, but they thought it appropriate to issue me a ticket while I was delivering propane. $55 they want for that. And guys, that's just an example of the targeted nature of a lot of this. I don't know how many of those Amazon vans ever got a ticket or anything, but I asked the cops, you know, where am I supposed to go? Am I supposed to get stuck in the snow? And sure enough, these guys directed me to private property. They literally directed me to park on somebody else's private property during this time that I was waiting. I was really surprised with that, and so was the property owner when I contacted them and let them know that LPD was directing people to use their property. We just had another board member walk in. That's Brenda Clary. She's a local attorney. She's been on the board. She was kind of, I don't know. She was put on there with that one guy, and I thought they were kind of ringers to shut down the board. But the other thing that we're going to be talking about tonight is some of these civil cases that are starting to stack up against the city of Lawrence. End all immunity. I'm all with you on that one, man. Let's do it. But, you know, we got Spees v. City of Lawrence. 2 pages of his. We got Kennan v. City of Lawrence. We got Mine v. City of Lawrence. And then all in the while of all these civil cases being filed and all the stuff that's going on with that, we've had a ton of different situations where murders have happened, people have been shot, and nothing happens. Nothing happens. But by golly, let's give that guy handing out propane to homeless people, let's give him a $55 ticket for parking on a side street while there's snowpack and nobody can get up on the curb to get out of the way or anything. I normally pull up into a drive there that was completely covered because of the snowpack from the snowplows going through. I mean, so that's the basic gist of what's going on. Now, we could go inside there and I don't know, it's an open meeting room right now. There's no meeting in order, so I guess I could go in there and narrate if I really wanted to be a dick. But would you guys like to go in and hear what they're saying? I kind of would. Let's see, we've got 5:27. We've got about another 15 minutes before this meeting kicks off. I believe it starts at 5:45. Let's go in and hear what kind of conversations these people want to have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and set up the camera, and then I'm going to bring out, I'm going to go come back out here and get that placard.
Oh, his last name will come to me. Yeah, let me know, please. Brian, I know, he's Brian Cole.
Hey, how's it going? Good, how are you?
But, yeah, let me know. Yeah, we actually. Anyway, I know he told me. Okay. Yeah, we had a Justice Club for many years,
Yeah.
back in 1987, and somehow it ended up kind of disbanding a bit, especially during COVID. But they're looking to bring it back, and it's some new professors that have backgrounds in law enforcement. And so we're hoping that we can restart it.
Nice, nice.
So,
Was a member of the Criminal Justice Student Association.
you were
I was.
at what school?
San Diego State.
Oh, really?
Those times.
How you doing? Just a guy having fun.
But I'll tell them about the ride-alongs
Yeah,
and stuff,
please do.
and how they would hear about that.
Yeah,
And yes,
absolutely. I need something solid. Happy to help.
you know, of course, that.
Oh, Gail, there's never any wrongdoing in God. Come on.
Of course. Yeah. They probably, most of them probably know you anyway from being on the wrong side of things.
Well, yeah.
The other side. Yeah.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Good, how are you?
You know, I love this place.
I bet you did. You got almost another week off, didn't you?
Right? I did miss a little.
He's just such a good old boy, just smooth it up.
Yeah.
You're good. You're really good. I was like,
He does it publicly quite a bit too.
Yeah.
You've been really good since we were met. They
Yeah.
missed it. The little ones like it. You know, my son is, he's in middle school.
My kid's in high school, we should love taking the time off.
Yeah, he's too cool. And
Yep.
his sister, she was so sad when we were, I don't know what day it was. Oh, Thursday? Yeah, because we were at what? For
Yeah.
my son's basketball. And then we got the call that school was canceled, and she was so angry. This is not fair. And I'm like, you are very opposite of your brother.
The only reason I have it is to tell you exactly the hour, and that's what I'm supposed to do today. Otherwise, I ADHD so much, I just forgot to do it. I will not remember.
So everybody's here since Evan's out.
Yeah, Kurt, you ready over there?
All set.
Okay,
Alright.
let me start with the recording here. Kurt, tell me about this it already started?
It's already started. Just unmute your mic and we're good to go.
All right, Mr. Chair, you're ready to rock and roll.
All right, this meeting of the Community Police Review Board is begun, and our first agenda item is to approve the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve? Brenda has a motion, second from Caleb. Any further discussion?
I don't know if that sound is on purpose or not, but we're gonna move.
Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the minutes, say aye.
How about that echo?
Before we move on to the next item, there are two items on the agenda that I meant to designate for public comment. If there are no objections, I'd like to open agenda item C1, the monthly complaint report, and C2, the talking points discussion for public comment. Any objections? Perfect. All right, we'll move on to B, public comment. This is for general comments from the audience.
And Mr. Chair, if you
Anyone?
would, you tend to read the opening statement.
Thank you. The public is allowed to speak at public comment after first being recognized by the chair, except that any complaints or comments regarding individually identifiable officers are not allowed. Rather, any such comments and complaints may be provided to the board in writing, and the board will forward such comment or complaint to the appropriate person within the Lawrence Police Department. The board may establish reasonable limitations on the allowable length of public comment. As a general practice, the board will not discuss or debate these items, nor will it make decisions on items presented during this time. The amount of time that we've agreed upon is 3 minutes. Do I have anyone who would like to make a public comment? Yes, sir. Could you introduce yourself to the
Yes,
board?
just right here.
To the,
Going to move this up.
yes.
Yeah, just hold the button in, it'll keep going up.
All right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So, I'm ready. My name is Eric Hyde. I live at the Polar Lofts here in Lawrence, Kansas. I know I have 3 minutes, so I'll follow that. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak. I want to express my gratitude for the hard work and dedication of our law enforcement officers. I deeply care about this community, about its safety, and I want to support efforts to strengthen trust and collaboration between residents and the police. Let's see here. I think I acknowledge, I can see it, there's, you guys are focusing on oversight and community trust, and that's a good thing. I think our shared goals, just to say, you guys probably already know, reducing crime, fostering trust, ensuring fair treatment for all residents. So I want to praise you guys. The police department, I mean, I'm not sure what everyone here represents, what institution, whatever, but we have had a problem with behavior from people, homeless individuals, and I'm very pleased with the way our police department's handling that. They're not totalitarian or anything like that. I witnessed a thing today, some police responding to an incident by Polar Lofts, and they seem to handle it very fairly. They even called some people with the city to try to help the homeless, like the utility people, and that was good. They didn't issue any citations or anything. I thought they should have, but they didn't, and so I was pleased with that. And let's see here. I think the mental health of the police is probably pretty good. I think their de-escalation training is pretty good. I have one question. What are the board's plans to improve outreach in neighborhoods where trust may be weaker? I can think of some neighborhoods in town. I won't mention any, because I don't want to call anybody out. Another question, what challenges do officers face that the community can help address? So, like collaboration, cooperation sort of things. How can residents better support the police in their efforts to ensure public safety? What initiatives are in place to enhance transparency and community trust? All offer to volunteer for start. It's time? Okay. If I can just say one more thing, I think that's probably about it. That's right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else who would like to speak?
Bringing this back down because I can see.
It's fine.
Okay.
And would you introduce yourself, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Michael, and it's interesting you guys got praise from somebody who doesn't even understand what all of you guys do. I actually do understand what you guys do, and I especially understand what he does and what his department does. For a number of years, you guys, some of you guys are all new faces except for Brenda, it looks like. And this has been reformulated so many times that I've lost count. We've had Citygate, we've had the last one, we had a DOJ trust event where there's still lost trust, and I can tell you where the lost trust is coming from. We have police officers out there, the previous gentleman may not realize this, but a homeless person got the only jaywalking ticket in Lawrence in 2023. I filed a complaint on that, called it biased policing, it was exonerated. Just like the complaints that you're gonna see that are exonerated tonight. How is it that the homeless person got the only jaywalking ticket in Lawrence, Kansas, where jaywalking is ubiquitous? You have civil cases piling up. You got 523 CV 4107, Spies versus City of Lawrence in the Lawrence Police Department. You got 524 CV 4034. This is Kennan versus the Lawrence Police Department, and I don't really care about the microphone because this is really important that you guys understand. Anthony Kennan was a man who was hogtied in something called the rap. Have you guys been exposed to what the rap is? If you haven't, you need to look. He was hogtied in the rap. This pressure point is called a mandibular angle, and it was done to him while he was hogtied, while he could not do anything to deserve that kind of treatment by a police officer. Now that's a part of that lawsuit. This behavior was exonerated by that chief. You were in the meeting when it happened, when it was exonerated. 524 CV 4042, that's my own lawsuit for an arrest on Heatherwood Drive, where I was asked to do a number of things and then attacked by police while I was acting in my capacity as a citizen journalist, recording police activity in an unbarricaded area. Look at his smile, do you see him? Look at him, really. You should see the incredulous way he behaves toward people he doesn't like. And that's the way the department is led. You can see it on his face right now if you look over there. But that's the way the department is led. If they don't like somebody, they come down on you. Today, I was pulled over on 11th Street delivering propane to homeless people. As you all know, we have snowpack everywhere. There's really no way to get off the road without getting stuck. We have a ton of cars that were left everywhere because of it. I got a ticket while I was delivering propane to homeless people. How many Amazon vans have you guys seen on Iowa Street just pulled over in the right-hand lane, just blocking traffic where people have to merge in? They don't like you, you get the ticket.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, next agenda item, we have the monthly complaint report.
All right, commissioners, board members, we have one complaint for the month of January, PC 24-035. It was a use of force complaint, it's a level 1. Complainant was a white female. We received a complaint through our C-Click Fix, which is an online reporting system. She alleged an officer used excessive force during an arrest. The investigation revealed the officer was investigating a theft and conducting a traffic stop on an associated vehicle owned by the complainant. She was not in the vehicle at the time of the stop, but arrived at the stop on foot. She placed herself between the vehicle and the officer. The officer informed the complainant she needed to leave, and she refused. The officer placed her under arrest for interference with duties of a law enforcement officer. He placed hands on the complainant, asked her to put her hands behind her back. She refused, and the officer physically placed her hands behind her back. She continued to actively resist, pushed back towards the officer, forced the complainant to the ground where she was eventually handcuffed behind her back. Body camera review did not support the allegation of excessive force. Any questions?
What date was that received?
The incident happened 12/3. I don't have the date the complaint was received. It was received in month of December.
And was she notified of the results?
Yes,
What date was that?
I don't have that.
The reason I ask is, she has a certain amount of time to appeal, and she's gonna appeal it. I'm just gonna.
It's 28 days.
28 days from the date she was notified. Any other questions?
There's one complaint that's in the works coming to us, is that correct? I thought there was one that was working through the system, like, I'm trying to recall
Appeal?
from last week, yeah, for appeal. That the board was going to hear, maybe I'm misunderstanding it. I thought there was, okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other issues, comments on receiving the monthly complaint report? Okay, any public comment?
Exonerated, just like this. You won't see complaints, and see, this is why this isn't conducive. You guys should be up there facing us. And you should really put your phone down if it really mattered.
I have the agenda.
Huh?
I have the agenda.
But you're looking at your phone instead of paying
Sir?
attention to the public
Sir,
comment.
your comment toward the board member is
I'm
not-
addressing the board member, and I'm allowed to do that. Don't interrupt me, don't make this animosity between you and me. I have animosity with him, don't start with me, and don't try to educate me on what my rights are standing at this podium,
I'm
sir.
not educating
You will
you on your
lose.
rights.
I can address a board member anytime I choose. And please, put your phone down and pay attention to what I'm saying.
Do you have any-
Let's
do you have
not
any
do,
further-
let's not do this, let's
you
not do
have
this.
Any further?
Yes, I
comments?
have more comments, but let's not do this. Are you the chair or is he?
I am the chair, 3 minutes.
Yes, that's understood. Exonerated, just like this. Just like this, exonerated. Don't start a battle with me, sir. You don't want to do that. My First Amendment prevails in this ring. Unfortunately, it doesn't on the street. Because if we talk shit to the police, we get beat up. That's what this was about. And unfortunately, you guys can't understand what's happening on the street. And you never will. Because you guys are the sheep that follow the orders, that always go along with what the police want you to do, regardless of whether it is legal or not. When it is illegal, I stand up, just like I did a minute ago when you tried to direct me illegally what I'm allowed to do at this podium. I stand up, and you didn't like it. So now I'm the problem, right? That's exactly how they view it. Can you not see that? Do you not understand that? Next time you see me, this is what you're going to remember, and you're going to have that distaste, and you're going to treat me differently because of it. Do you think they don't do that when we push back? Really? That's what causes stuff like this. That's what causes stuff like these lawsuits. Why can't you people understand this? I didn't come here for animosity with you, but when people step on my rights, there's going to be animosity. And that's what he's done. He came in here and lied to this board. It's my most viewed video at Lawrence Accountability. He came in here and lied to the board and got caught in it. And when that board member caught him in his lie, she suddenly went away and the board dissolved and was reformed and everything. Watch what happens when you try to question things a little more deep. Why doesn't he have the date that the complaint was sent? Why doesn't he have the date that they responded to it? He should have this information. This is how complaints are treated. They're treated like they're just, willy-nilly, we'll just do what we need to do and the chief will make it up as we go. Press him, make him bring those dates, make him bring details. Make him explain why these complaints are getting made. Please. I'm not going to come in here a bunch because this board is really pointless until you guys figure it out.
Thank you, sir. I believe your 3 minutes are up.
How do you know that? There's no timer. Did you just decide that yourself?
The 3 minutes are up.
How could he have known?
You're out of order. 3 minutes are up.
Oh yeah, I know. You're out of order for interrupting me during that period of time.
Next item
Can I
of business.
Can I speak on it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
The complaint, thanks. Sorry, I just, for the video, whatever, in case anybody's watching from home. All right, my name is Eric Hattigan. So the complaint was about excessive force. I will admit that I have been in situations like that before with the police. You know, I didn't think I did anything wrong. And they were young police officers, you know, they were still learning. But you know, I still had things to learn too in my life. How to be a better man. And so it sounds like, if I'm right, that the report is just about the resident not really listening to the officer, so, you know. But yeah, so I mean, I've been tackled by the police
You guys catch
in the
that?
city hall here, and I even shook the hand of the guy who tackled me later, and I like him. He's a great guy. But yeah, I just guess the point I'm trying to say is that I don't know. Maybe there's something we can learn from that excessive force on both sides to support the resident and the police, so we can do the cooperation thing again. I don't know. I'm just posing the idea. So that's about it, I think. But yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Or we can just lick that boot. Just lick that boot. Just lick it hard, man. Helps if you use flavored polish.
If it's some time to get me into the meeting, can you help me understand where we are, please?
Was that amazing or what?
I mean, excuse
That
me.
fucking bootlicker in there, man. I swear to God. Eric Hyde, you can kiss my
There
ass.
wasn't anybody there to bring me in. So where are we, please?
That's my fault, Stephen.
Yeah, that's because Lockhart doesn't know how to run a fucking meeting, and he shouldn't be in charge of
Where
it.
we are,
That's what I'm trying to tell you. We are receiving the monthly complaint report.
where's that agenda item C?
That's C1.
Oh. Boy, just in the nick of time, buddy, thank you. You know, last week we were talking about, or last month there was a talk about the use of force report. And only one guy asked, oh, so you mean the police can beat you below your head to a bloody pulp
Sure they
and
can,
take away
Stephen.
your
God, didn't you know that?
And Rich said, yeah, but it goes into this report. What report and how frequently are those other reports reviewed? My assertion is that they are not an opportunity for the public to review them. The public has a concept of what force is. The police department utilizes Philadelphia lawyering and changes what that is. And so that's where we are. I don't know what, I didn't hear what was going on earlier, but hey man, when you got this stuff about the public thinks what use of force is, but the police decide, hey, as long as we are not beating you below your head, that doesn't count as use of force.
I think he
And
meant
this
above your head.
Citizens Review panel is comfortable with that kind of nonsense?
They're comfortable with whatever the cops say they need.
Thank you, sir. Any further comments online?
Does not look that way.
Okay. With that, we
Not
will
enough
go to
bootlickers, huh?
the CPRB talking points discussion.
Talking points. Now I want you to pay attention here. They're having
We
a
had
topic
discussed it,
about
the last
talking
meeting,
points. They got to have talking
the
points about
possibility
what
of
they're
putting
going to
something
talk
together
about.
For sharing with the community about what this board does, what our responsibilities
This
are.
board does nothing,
And,
guys.
I went
You're-
ahead and took the
I'm
initiative
sticking
to
around
put
for
together
this
some
because
talking
they
points and frequently
changed it
asked
to where we can
questions,
public comment on
which
this
were
item
included in the
too.
agenda. And I want to get some feedback from all of you on that. Is this helpful? Is this too much? Does this meet the need that we talked about last meeting? So with that, I'll open it up for discussion.
My take is, as it evolved, it certainly did meet the need. Didn't strike me as too much, but maybe it could be streamlined.
Okay, fair.
So I had volunteered that I would, work.
Yeah, I hope you don't mind that I
That's fine.
took it.
So I started working on the PowerPoint and trying to think, because in my previous life, I made 10 million PowerPoints to address different policies and procedures and things like that.
Make a PowerPoint for the number of
And I
people
went
that have
through
been beat up in this
introduced
town.
ourselves, and I went back to our mission and what our mission is. And based on what everybody here has said, even in their public comments, and reading that, we have such a very narrow scope of what we can do.
You have no scope.
Basically, we can review citizen complaints that have been appealed. There's not much else that we are empowered to do. So that's where I was kind of struck with it. I go, well, what else are
Exactly.
we going to present to people? It's kind of a single frame PowerPoint of this is all we can really do. Maybe that's something.
I think that sums it up. This is all we can really do. I don't think you can say it much better than that, Douglas.
Increased a little bit with the help of Chief Lockhart, so that we can do community outreach, and it wouldn't. I think our primary purpose.
Is Doc in here
absolutely has to be
tonight?
what it is.
Justin, you in there?
But a secondary purpose could be the community outreach portion, because I know that I've gone to community meetings in uniform and said, well, open it up for conversation. And people don't want to open up to law enforcement that much. But I think that's where we have kind of a unique ability that if we were to go out to the public, because we are part of the police department, we're part of the community. And if they say, well, it's this intersection, and it's really bugging me, and it's doing this, and there's these collisions and stuff, that's something we can bring back to the police department.
And I think community outreach is at least implied in our scope, if not expressly stated.
It's not expressly stated, and that's what I would like it to be expressed, to be an additional entry point for either us to present
Hey, John
information
DeP,
to Chief Lockhart,
Jimmy Dab.
or to the city commission, to go to the city commission and say, hey, this is what we're hearing.
What's up, firm? We're waiting. They're going to allow public comment on their talking points because talking points are important. Because it's about all we can do is come up with talking points because there's never a complaint for them to review. They thought they had a complaint to review. That one guy did, and the chief was like, nope, 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 no complaints ever get to this board.
With the last group of people, it caused a lot of turmoil and a lot of, I'm not sure what happened to the last group of people. I read about it in the paper, and I really don't want to go to it. I kind of like to, I was always told I need to stay in my lane. And I feel like our lane right now
Is nothing more than what the chief tells you.
reviewing citizen complaints.
Which is much broader scope than what the board had previously.
Agreed.
And my sense is the limitation of that
Much
scope
broader
was
scope?
one of the big issues. We definitely had a community outreach committee within the board.
You
back
didn't
then.
do community outreach.
I don't know that that's prohibited by the current ordinance. And definitely think it's a good idea to engage.
These guys are looking for
Yeah,
something
but
to
question,
do. They need to
what did the
focus on the
previous
actual
board
job
do as
of
far as
oversight of the police
community
department.
outreach?
That's the sad part
Things
about
like
this.
Being present at community events.
Being present at community events isn't going to get us there. You guys are empowered to have some oversight here. You need to exercise it.
So I
But we
guess,
had one.
I guess I was thinking about this not only in terms of outreach, but if somebody came and asked you, you're on the board, what do you do?
Nothing.
Kind of an elevator speech. To your point about making it succinct, what's a 30-second answer to that question?
They don't have an answer. That's exactly why we're having this conversation.
And I
They
think
don't
at
even know
minimum,
what they
we should be
do.
able to answer that question and consistently.
See?
Yes, I agree.
So where would you like to take it from here? I mean, we can see your PowerPoint, we can do that. We can
Make
look
up
at
something
this,
about what you
Try
do.
to consolidate them. We
That-
can come up with a
it
plan
is sad, Jimmy.
for
It is
outreach.
sad.
I mean,
I got to that question, the question of,
yeah,
what do we do?
yeah.
And it's like, well, it's really just one sentence.
That is
And
absolutely
I kinda felt
pathetic.
like I'm gonna go to the Rotary Club, or I'm gonna go to the Kiwanis Club, or I'm gonna go and do a presentation. I feel like I should be able to say, I do a little more than that.
You're right, Aaron.
But I also, like I said, I kind of have this,
We'll go inside because I'm going to comment on this shit.
we're not poisoning the water that we're trying to create, because we come back going, well, hey, did you hear, we have this issue.
But I think one of the very important points is, and you made this, was the complaints that we see has been expanded from what we had.
Agreed.
And I think we need to talk about that, to say that, speak to that. Yeah.
Do you have, like, any thoughts about what you envision a wider scope being? Because I don't know, I wasn't here for the other ones.
Right, me neither.
Yeah. And
I don't want to use the word liaison, but community outreach, kind of a nonpartisan community outreach, or a gateway for information to go through, or another place for, I mean, I know that people get irritated with certain situations in town. They're not going to call Chief Lockhart because they're not going to do that. If I go to the Kiwanis Club, or I go to the Rotary Club, or whatever club it is, and I'm going to give a presentation, they're probably going to have questions when we bring stuff up to me. And how does that information get back? Okay, well, I can call Chief, or I can send him a, hey, this is what was brought up to me. I just think that should be included in our charter of what we do, to say, yes, you could also, secondary, our primary purpose is clearly this.
Yeah.
But a secondary purpose should be outreach and community education about what we do and how we're trying to improve law enforcement in this city.
And what the avenues are for complaints.
Yes, and what the avenues are for complaints.
This is kind of what we ran into in the Human Relations Commission, is first we were able to review cases like when you reported about landlord, like slumlords or things like that, or any type of protected discrimination that they would take. Then we got that taken away, so then the only thing we really did was let people know that they can make reports.
Right.
Right, and so, but I think it is important for us, if that is our job, right, for us to be able to be like, hey, this is what we do. Right,
Yes.
because when people think of the story that they want to share, usually, if they haven't told them before, they want to tell it all, right? And so we want to make sure we don't have them telling it twice, right? Well, because they're much less likely to tell it. Right? That's why I'm just wondering,
Yes.
like, you know, what our scope would look like, and if the city and the police would let us widen the scope,
Great.
right? So, because I think that that's also.
And that's the other concept, and this goes from Michael, is our scope is only complaints on specific officers. Well, what if there's a unit that's doing something either good or bad, or they need, if there's a traffic unit, well, we can have a traffic unit here, or the traffic unit is doing this kind of things, or if there's an out of state, and we get feedback on that, we're not empowered to do anything with that because it's not about an individual, and we're only allowed to deal with individuals.
And it deals with complaints that are made.
Yes.
Right. Because I think that, like, when vulnerable people that are come and talk about this stuff, I want to make sure that it's gonna be impactful. You know, like, when they tell the story, the process makes sense also.
Yes.
So that's all. I was just curious, because I don't know what a broader scope looks like, or mostly, or if it will be accepted. That's like,
Right.
oh,
And I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
I think it would be one sentence. And that would be, and to liaison with the community on community concerns.
Yep.
To be addressed either to the city commission or the chief of police. I think it could be as simple as that. And that would give us a little leeway then to field a lot of complaints or broader concerns about versus just a single officer in a single incident.
Sure, because concise doesn't mean that what we do doesn't matter, right? We just, like, it's probably just easier for everything, right? That's all, I appreciate you.
So what I'm hearing to kind of summarize is a succinct statement about what we do, what the avenues are to make a complaint, and possibly expanding our role to hear complaints against groups or
I wouldn't
raise
say
concerns.
concerns.
Okay, raise concerns, okay.
Yeah.
Do we require any more discussion from the board? Because I know someone in the public wants to make a comment. Are we ready to take comments at this point? Okay. Mr. Watts, you have 3 minutes.
We're doing online first.
Thank you. You know, with respect to this issue, it needs to be stated that public outreach, incredibly, wow, I'm sorry, I just get a lot of humor out of this stuff, man, I really do. This meeting itself was not advertised. There was no date for this meeting. If, as a citizen, you went forward and said, I wonder when the Community Police Review Board's gonna meet. The date that was in the webpage was 2027. Well, I sent an email in. Nobody said, thank you very much, Mr. Steve. They didn't say diddly squat. But the date did get changed, and that was 3 days ago. The only reason people knew this meeting existed is because they reviewed the video of the prior month's meeting. So, yes, indeed, there needs to be outreach. And I expect each member of this Citizens Review panel to be reviewing this stuff. You shouldn't have to have Joe Citizen out here looking at this stuff saying, hey, what time is it? Hey, Rich doesn't run the show at this point in the road. Matchlin does, or however you say his name. Now, moving forward, that same gentleman was at the Department of Justice Dog and Pony show in August, where the police department agreed and promised us that there would be a citizens group formed from that Dog and Pony show, and that they would assist in writing police policy instead of the right-wing, nasty, let's go beat people up think tank of Lexipol. I have sent all of you information about Lexipol, even from the state of Texas. Very conservative state saying that there are problems with this. So anyway, yes, thank you for the time, and again, I yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Watts. Do you have any further comments from the public in the room?
When you guys are trying to figure out what you're supposed to do after you've been appointed to this board, what you need to remember is that Josh Seiden, they were going to appoint him to this board. That's how much of a joke they see this, because you guys aren't really supposed to do anything. The person that you needed to be directing all your stuff to tonight was sitting right there at the table, but you guys stayed confused between yourself. Why didn't you ask him any questions about what your scope should be and ask him if he'd be willing to provide more information? He's sitting right there, but you refused to do that. And that tells me that you lack the stones to actually go up against him a little bit. And see his little smile again. You know, he doesn't think I'm a citizen journalist. But it's funny, I have more subscribers than the Times and the Lawrence Journal World do. And there's 102 people watching right now, Rich, watching you making an ass out of yourself. When you guys are trying to figure out talking points instead of actually working towards some police accountability in this town, that's not a good look. You guys need to be asking him more questions about why there are people like me and Stephen out there, and there's more of us. There's several that won't come in here because they're afraid of making themselves known and becoming a target and getting those $55 tickets like I do and getting arrested for battery when I bump into a cop. That's interesting. I got battered in here the other night, but no arrest was, and I doubt any charges are getting made, but it only goes one way. While you guys are figuring out talking points, people are getting beat up out here on our streets. Mr. Miller, I didn't know that you were former law enforcement. Are you former law enforcement here in town?
No.
Okay. So at least you're not part of the local cabal, but you understand the terms that we're using, and you understand what the rap is, and you understand what a mandibular angle is, and you understand how wrong it is.
I don't know what a mandibular angle is.
Well, then I'd suggest you check it out, but you would also understand the use of force continuum well enough to understand that that was an inappropriate use of force, and it was exonerated by him. You really do need to look into this. Look beyond my anger, because this has been building for 4 years since I was beat up at a scene, and the person, they knew who did it, because you got a cop on body cam saying he was hit by the guy with blood on his shoes. And then I'm the only one cited. That was dropped, and then I put in an open record request. They filed the charge again and added 2 more. I had 3 charges now all of a sudden. I got a list of times I've been charges and dismissed. Charges and dismissed. There's a reason. Please, you guys have got to ask more questions than what he's going to allow you to ask. And if you need to do it, go to the commissioner who appointed you and tell them that you need to be allowed to ask these questions to fulfill your mandate to the citizens. Look beyond my anger. Understand that there's more people out there that feel like me, though he's going to tell you it's not.
Thank you, Mike.
I'm not even going to stay in the room for the bootlicker. That guy is a fucking
My
idiot.
name's Eric Hyde.
Let's see how great
I
the
had some
police
ideas
are.
while I was listening to you guys talk. Trying to figure out like outreach stuff.
Outreach stuff.
Some ideas like community training and education workshops.
Community training.
That would take some volunteer manpower, or maybe it could be done, proposed as a sort of city or police sort of thing.
So the community needs to be trained. Got it.
But basically just workshops that focus about community and police department cooperation. These workshops might, walk citizens through how to file complaints just as an option for them, but also training about like what the police do for the community and why they're necessary for order in this community. Maybe stuff like that the sheriff department does with the community training for people like that.
And guys, if I wasn't here, this is the only voice they'd be hearing. You got to go to these meetings, man, because there's people like this
you
in
guys
these
would,
meetings that are doing nothing but
focus on
praising them and
constructive
telling them how
resolution.
great they're doing.
And I think you guys are doing a pretty good job so far.
I can't believe this guy says you're doing a pretty good job
you
after they
look
just had a
over
15-minute
and not
discussion over not
conflict
knowing what they
focus
even
alone.
do.
There can still be conflict, but we need resolution.
My goodness.
Guess. Yeah, what I'm. I don't know. I just think. I think we can really do something in the community, because everybody goes through a phase in their life where they don't trust the police, and well, I'm about to be a father, and I'm about to be married.
It's just a phase, Eric says.
And, I need the police, and I need this community too. So
It's just a
there's gotta be
phase
a
we're
way we
going
can
through,
share,
folks.
be together as a community, respect diversity and all that stuff, and religion and Republicans. and
Eric, I don't even know
Democrats.
you,
We
but
can
you need to
respect
stay the fuck
everybody,
home because
just
you
have
don't
this
know
community
anything
be
about
safe,
this Lawrence Police
secure.
Department or their history.
There's got to be something we can do for community outreach, is what I'm saying. Yep, that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's move on to our next agenda topic. There's no one else online that's asking for time, is there?
No, Mr. Chair.
God, guys, can you get any more
Board
boot
training.
liquor than that?
Lockhart?
Here, thank you.
And now, see,
I'm gonna do a little share
Lockhart
screen here.
is gonna do the board training. He's the one that trains them. I just want you to realize that.
We shared, Kurt?
That's how this works.
Let's see if I can flip it.
Lockhart trains the board and leads them along, just like I said in the title. He
All right,
leads
so
them
we're doing some
along by the
de-escalation
nose.
training for you all tonight. If you remember, there was a list of things that we had to provide training-wise for you.
And you
This is
know,
one of those.
there's
I
no
think the
public
last thing we
comment
have is
on
fair
this
and
one.
impartial policing. We're gonna
But I
try
find
that
it kind of
next month.
interesting
That'll be
that part of this
the last one.
de-escalation training, and as we're walking out here, I'll just turn this around. Let me see if I can make this a little bit. But it's kind of interesting that he's talking about this de-escalation training, and he's sitting in that meeting in there, making faces, trying to escalate. I mean, that's the reality of, let me raise this pole here. That's the reality of what was going on in there. The guy is in there making faces, trying to escalate, and now he's presenting a de-escalation training to this board. And that's incredible. That's our police chief, guys, and that's why there's nobody at this police review board. You can ask Stephen Watts. He's been following this all along. It started with Citygate. Hell, it started before that. They had studies and shit before that they were going to do to fix the police department around here. We had a guy named Brad Williams that got decertified because he was pulling over people and fucking with them all the time. We've got people around here that have been fired, been let go because of their behavior, and we got other ones that's been sued. But that board inside that hall in there, they just keep lapping it up, and there's nothing that we can do as long as the city keeps letting Rich Lockhart control that board. And as I told them, they have the mandate. They were appointed to that board for a reason. They were appointed to that board as oversight over the police department, not to be led along by the police chief and told what they're supposed to be doing. They need to be reviewing all complaints. They need to be reviewing all the complaint investigative files. They need to have access to be able to interview some of the people that are complaining if they choose. That is what true oversight looks like. And if there's going to be oversight of the police department in this manner, with a board like that, they need to be empowered to be able to talk to more people than just the police department and get the narrative that the police department gets. Now, the one thing I didn't mention in there, Rich talks about body cam footage and how body cam exonerated. Well, here's the real deal. It's in our intro that Kansas has possibly the weakest open record laws in the nation. The reality of that is that in Kansas, when you request body cam footage, and Kim Murphy at the police department, she's the records custodian, she will automatically tell you in a record request that all body cam footage is considered an investigative record, and thus it is closed. And then this last week when we had all the snow, and I never did put this video out because it never made it, but you can go look if you want on Facebook at the Lawrence, Kansas Police Department. They use their own body cam footage and car cam footage to put out a propaganda video. Now, my gosh, I thought that was a criminal investigative record. Why are we just throwing that up on Facebook, LPD? This is what we're talking about. There's a bias, there's a rules for thee, not for me kind of attitude that has been pervasive around here for way too long. And until this board gets it through their heads that chief is doing nothing but leading them on, nothing changes, guys. So, man, 2 years ago, I started going into that board, and it became such a frustrating affair. I'm not going to bother to come back to this bullshit, because if they can't even figure out what their mandate is in a 15-minute conversation, there's no helping them. I appreciate everybody. I missed a pretty good live stream. We got 118 people in here. I hate to cut it off right now, but God, I'm running out of things to say, and it's freaking cold out here. As you can see, we got snow like a week or two ago. This is more snow than Lawrence sees very often. We've still got 5, 6, 7, 8 inches of it after it's been packed down, piled up here. But I appreciate y'all tuning in, and I really love being able to tell them how many viewers were watching, because I guarantee there weren't that many viewers on the city feed, and I guarantee this video alone will outdo the city feed for their last 3 CPRB meetings. That's because nobody is paying attention to them. And when Rich Lockhart wants to act like I'm not a fucking citizen journalist, take a look at the viewership, buddy. All right, end all immunity, y'all. I don't know who all's in here. Jimmy Zabs, hey, hang to the end. Karen O. Oh yeah, got a whole bunch of you in here. Robert. All right, guys, I'm gonna sign off for this one. And man, there's nothing more frustrating than a board that doesn't even know what they're supposed to be doing. You guys have a great night.